I'm going to give my breakdown of the 2025 Women's State of Origin New South Wales Sky Blues team list. We're going to look at some of the key significant changes and look at some of John Strange's selections for this game. So let's just start off with looking at the team list. Okay, so we've got Abby Church at fullback. The wings will be Jamie Chapman and Jamie Frezard. The centres will be Jessica Sturgis, partnered with Isabel Kelly. Halves will be Tiana Penitani-Gray and Jessie Southwell. Props will be Samoa McDalfa and Ellie Johnson, with Kelly Davis at hooker, sorry. Back row will be Kezzy Apps and Yasmin Clydesdale. Lock will be Olivia Koenig. And the bench will be Jocelyn Kelleher, Kennedy Charrington, Sarah Tongatuki, Emma Veron, with 18th, 19th, 20th in Shaylee Bent, Kira Dibb, and Olivia Higgins. So John Strange is the new coach. So some key changes. Let's just look at their last year's Game 3 team list. So we can see the first significant change would be fullback. There's no Tonagato at fullback. There's also no Penitani on the wings. Corbin Baxter and Rachel Pearson, complete change there. Millie Elliott and Caitlin Johnson-Green are both pregnant, so they're out. And Olivia Higgins has been changed in the hooking role. And we can also see there's a completely different bench. No Fuimaono Davis is starting, and no Gracie Kemp from last year. So let's just break down the positions and some of John Strange's selections for Game 1 for 2025 State of Origin. So I'll start off with Abby Church at fullback. Her selection at fullback was a bit surprising. She did get fullback of the year, and I would probably say that she wasn't the most creative threat in the 2024 season. She had 0 try assists, only scored 1 try, and at times the ball movement was a bit clunky between her and the back line. But she has been picked, and I think her biggest strength is that she plays with a lot of heart, a real effort player. She's not afraid to take tough carries. Her effort in defense is really solid. She could be even compared to, for those who watch the men's game, probably most of you do, Dylan Edwards type fullback. I would have considered Emma Tonagato or Emma Veron, I think her surname goes by now. Emma Veron at fullback. She has a lot more of a ball-playing threat, even a bit more of an attacking spark. And you do have Tegan Berry, but maybe I think she's edged by Church's toughness and level of grit. I think that's why Church would have got the jump on Berry. But I think, Tonagato on the bench is interesting. Maybe he's just making space for someone like Church to be able to have Tonagato come off the bench with a bit of spark if needed and a bit of a backup just in case, because she's very versatile. She can play in the 6 as well. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Abby Church. I think she'll do a great job anyways, regardless. And she'll rise to the occasion for sure. Now let's go to the wings. Chapman, genuine strike player, can find the try line, and I think we've seen in the All-Stars game at fullback, she shined in a couple of those key areas, scored herself a try. But she does have a few more errors compared to Frezard, and I think she had a quiet patch in last year's State of Origin. I think in Game 2 she wasn't as heavily involved, where she didn't get as many meters. But the other 2 games she was quite a strike player, especially with her kick returns. Let's go to the other winger in Jamie Frezard. I think she does have consistency, although she doesn't offer the same amount of strike power. I think someone like Penitani, probably if she got put on the wing and stayed there, or even Whitfield. I think Jakai Whitfield, whether she's got injury, I'm not too sure. But, for Frezard to be put in front of those players, again, I think it comes back to probably effort areas and, the 6-week camp based on what John Strange has gone with. And she's done a job for the Roosters and scored a fair amount of tries. But, it will be interesting to see how she goes at that level. She's got a lot of experience at NRLW already. So let's look at the centres. Isabel Kelly, always a lock-in for New South Wales. The experience and toughness she brings, second to none. And she'll be a star player to watch. The other centre, Jess Sturgis. I think, she is very reliable in attack. sorry, she's a good strike in attack. Does have an error in a game, but defensively it'll be interesting. One on one, we've seen even in the grand final, she missed her assignment there a few times against Penatani. But look, I think she's incredibly damaging. We've seen that when it came to the Australia game versus England, and when she came on for, I think it was against the Kumals too. She's definitely a huge threat out there alongside Isabel Kelly. But yeah, just have a look at those one-on-one opportunities in defense against the opposition. It'll be interesting to see. So I think outside of her, whether Penatani would have been in front of her and changing around some of those combinations, but ultimately, yeah, she's pretty good strike player. Now, here's an interesting area. I think the number 6 jersey in Penatani, I think, yeah, it is an interesting position to put her in at that level. Look, she played 6 when it came to the Australia game. I think there was 2 occasions where she was put at number 6. While, there were big thrashings, there were big scoreline margins, it probably wasn't the best measure to see how well she would go under pressure. There's moments where she did go quiet and there was a lack of, I guess, organisation on the edge. But look, I would have, I think Emma Tonagato here, or even Kira Dibb, who offers a lot of organisation, good running style, on the back of organisation, could have complemented Southwell's dominance in her game management. But look, Penatani, she's a threat with the ball regardless. So whether she's got down pat that game management by the time it comes around with, game 1 for State of Origin, it will be very interesting to watch. But look, she's an ultimate professional wherever she's been put. She does do the job. However, this is going to be the pressure cooker here at State of Origin level. So, yeah, keep an eye out for her at number 6, see how she goes. Look, Jessie Southwell, she'll be pairing with. I think it's, if there's anyone to partner with, Jessie Southwell, she's, got a great kicking game, dominant half. She definitely creates opportunities at first receiver, seeing whether her and Penatani are going to play a left-right game or they're going to play a first receiver, second receiver game. That will be interesting. I definitely think her kicking game will steer the club, or not steer the club, steer their side, because she's done that at club level, and definitely take a lot of pressure off those outside of her. Now, looking at the middle of the field, Simama Taufa, strong, experienced middle forward, brings a lot of leadership, high work rate. No concerns here for me. Ellie Johnson, good tough front rower, but I definitely think they'll be missing the punch of Caitlin Johnson and Millie Elliott. In regards to their depth in middles, but Ellie Johnson stepping up here. I think she does play a fair amount of minutes already. If she's fit, ready to go, I think she's going to be quite damaging in the middle there. And she's proven with the Sharks. Their defense was really on song in terms of their defensive units in the middle, how they held them down and really slowed down the ruck. But we've got Keely Davis starting at 9. I think that's a good call because we often see that trio of dummy halves between Keely Davis, Olivia Higgins, and then with the other dummy half in Quincy Dodd. The 3 of them constantly rotate when it comes to Australia, the Gillaroos, or even with here at our Origin level. But yeah, I think what she offers is versatility. She can play in the middle. She's tough. She's gritty. And you can put her in at lock as well if you bring on someone from dummy half. Someone into dummy half like a Jocelyn Keller. But yeah, I think she'll be good there in the hooking position. Now, back row, Kezzy Apps, I think she did a great job for Australia. Her size and mobility and experience will probably suit middle in that role better. Her experience anyways should get them across the line, and depending what side she'll play on, she could help with her experience to help out Benetani there, even in defence too. Look, Yasmin Clydesdale, safe workhorse option on the edge. No issues with this selection at all. Koenig, great hands, good choice for lock. I think, the modern 13 is very good IQ with the work rate and good hands. I think, she'll do a good job. She was second row of Dalian of the year last year. Expecting a good performance from her. It will really open up their attack, especially if we're going to see her at first receiver. to take the pressure off there for Benadani having to take full control on her edge, or just free her up a little bit in regards to how they play their attack. And let's look at the bench. Jocelyn Kelleher. She's got some utility value, but she can be a bit of a defensive liability at times. Missed a fair few tackles during the NRLW season, whether it's exposed at origin level. She could front up and, do a great job. But yeah, I think just that's probably one area I'd be looking at for Jocelyn. Kenny Charrington, plenty of aggression, a lot of physicality. I think if she keeps her discipline in check, any penalties out of the way, I think she'll bring the punch that they need once she comes on for any of the middle forwards. So I definitely think it's a good choice there. Sarah Tongotuki always brings Munger off the bench. Her impact will be pretty crucial in turning moments in the game if, we're seeing there's a tight battle. She definitely brings a lot there. And Emma Veron, or previously known as Emma Toningado, she does have a lot of versatility. She can cover fullback in the halves, where she goes on. We see at the origin level, there's always, a versatile player in, the hooking role. And then they'll also have, potential outside back. We've seen it for, in most recent years, this type of rotation system. So I think, it's a good option. I, am interested to see how she's used. The fact that she wasn't, the starting fullback or put in the halves. I think wherever she comes on, it's a great option to have up your sleeve for that role. I think Rima Butler would have been worth considering. I think she had a really great breakout year last year. To see her type of aggression brought to the origin level, I think she's an origin player, but, unfortunate to miss out. I'll dive into the Queensland selections on Wednesday. I'll have a special guest with me talking about, who's been selected in those positions and my thoughts, and I'll give my game prediction.